Imagine arriving in a new country, hopeful for a fresh start, only to face obstacles that seemed designed to hold you back. This was the reality for Chinese immigrants in Canada during the late 1800s and early 1900s. From grueling railway work to unfair taxes, their story is one of resilience in the face of discrimination. One of the most infamous policies they endured was the Chinese head tax, a government measure that not only targeted their wallets, but also their dignity. In this video, we'll explore why the head tax was introduced, its impact on families and communities, and how Canada eventually confronted this dark chapter in its history. Brought to you by Super Simple Sheets. From coast to coast, worksheets that work. Discover the full range of what we offer at supersimplesheets.com. Section 1. Why was the Chinese head tax introduced? In the mid-1800s, Canada was expanding, and Chinese immigrants were a crucial part of that growth. During the Fraser River Gold Rush, and later the construction of the Canadian Pacific Railway, thousands of Chinese workers arrived, bringing skills, labor, and determination. They worked under dangerous conditions, earning low wages and performing tasks that many others refused to do. But when the railway was completed in 1885, attitudes toward Chinese immigrants shifted. Some Canadians, driven by racism and fear, worried that Chinese workers would take jobs or change the country's cultural makeup. Politicians, bowing to these pressures, introduced the Chinese head tax. This fee was designed to limit Chinese immigration and discourage people from settling in Canada. It was a policy rooted in discrimination, targeting one specific group while ignoring others. Section 2. What was the Chinese head tax? The Chinese head tax, introduced in 1885, was initially $50, an enormous sum for the time. Most Chinese laborers earned only a fraction of that in a year. Over time, the tax increased dramatically, reaching $500 by 1903. This amount was more than many families could afford, effectively barring most Chinese people from immigrating to Canada. Unlike other immigrants, only Chinese people were required to pay this tax, making it a glaring example of unequal treatment. The head tax wasn't just about money. It sent a clear message that Chinese people were not welcome in Canada. Section 3. How did the tax affect families and communities? The Chinese head tax didn't just hurt individuals, it separated families for decades. Many Chinese men came to Canada alone, working tirelessly to send money home to their wives and children. They lived in cramped shared housing and faced discrimination in their daily lives. Because of the tax, most couldn't afford to bring their families to join them. This created a community of bachelor societies, where men lived far from their loved ones, sacrificing their own happiness for the chance to support their families. Despite these hardships, Chinatowns became places of hope and resilience. Communities in cities like Vancouver and Victoria provided support, culture, and a sense of belonging in an otherwise hostile environment. Section 4. The legacy of discrimination and change. The head tax was just the beginning. When it failed to completely stop immigration, the government introduced the Chinese Immigration Act of 1923, often called the Exclusion Act. This law banned nearly all Chinese immigration to Canada, and it wasn't repealed until 1947. During this time, Chinese Canadians faced widespread discrimination. They couldn't vote, hold certain jobs, or even become citizens. Despite these barriers, Chinese Canadians contributed to Canada in remarkable ways. During World War II, for example, many Chinese Canadians served in the military, fighting for the very freedoms they were denied at home. Eventually, Canada began to change. In 1967, immigration laws were reformed to be more inclusive, and in 2006, the Canadian government formally apologized for the head tax and exclusion laws. Survivors and their families received symbolic payments, and the apology was a step toward recognizing the injustices of the past. Conclusion. The story of the Chinese head tax is a powerful reminder of the struggles and contributions of Chinese Canadians. It's a story of resilience, courage, and the fight for fairness in the face of discrimination. Today, the vibrant Chinese Canadian community is an integral part of Canada's identity, a testament to their enduring spirit. As we reflect on this history, let's remember the sacrifices made and strive for a future that values equality and inclusion for all. Thanks for watching. Simplify your teaching journey with super simple sheets. Across Canada, we're known for our ready-to-use, curriculum-aligned worksheets. Dive into our educational solutions at supersimplesheets.com. Super Simple Sheets. From coast to coast, worksheets that work.